What's up, guys? And in today's video we're going to check out BlackArch. What's up, guys? It's Josh back with another video, and today I wanted to show you guys BlackArch Linux. And if you're interested in the cybersecurity world, then you've probably heard of Kali Linux as well as Parrot OS. Well, there's another Linux distribution out there that follows the same model as far as creating a penetration testing distribution for Linux called BlackArch. And Arch is in the name. That means that the distribution is based on Arch Linux. So essentially what it is a distribution of Arch that's easy to install, but has all those penetration testing tools pre-installed on the system for you. And you also have a repository of the same tools that you would find in Kali Linux or Parrot OS. And if you guys didn't know, majority of Linux packages that are used for penetration testing and all that can be installed on pretty much any Linux distribution. You just have to know where to look for it and download it and install it for the type of distribution that you have. So first up, let's hop over to blackarch.org so we can check out everything we need to know about this distribution before we go through a install, and I'll show you guys how to use it a little bit at the end of the video. So let's hop into it. Before we move forward, I wanted to give a quick shout out to CIQ, the official partner of Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux is a Linux distribution that is intended to be a downstream complete binary compatible release using the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system source code. The project is led by Gregory Kurtzer, who was the founder of the CentOS project. So check out Rocky Linux at ciq.co. Alright, so we are at blackarch.org. And this is essentially where you can get the distribution from. But let's read a little bit about the history of BlackArch and where it actually came from. Now, BlackArch Linux is a Arch Linux-based penetration testing distribution for penetration testers and security researchers. Now, the repository contains 2,800 tools. You can install the tools individually or in groups. And BlackArch Linux is compatible with existing Arch installs. And that's one cool thing about BlackArch. You can actually install BlackArch on your current existing Arch install. So if you went through the process of installing Arch Linux, then you can install BlackArch on top of it using some scripts that they made available to the community in order to get BlackArch installed. Now it says see the installation instructions. Now I wanted to focus in on this last sentence right here, but it says the BlackArch full ISO contains multiple window managers. So it has a lot of window managers included with it. And I'll show you guys the difference between the full ISO as well as the slim ISO. But it also says the BlackArch slim ISO features the XFCE desktop environment, which is super cool. In the past, BlackArch typically only had window managers for the desktop environment. If you've never used a window manager, then you'll find it a little bit different from running a normal desktop environment, but it is more proficient. You know, you can get more things done using a window manager. But if you're looking for that traditional desktop environment similar to Windows or Mac OS, then they do have the XFCE desktop environment included, which is super cool. And then it says below you will find some screenshots and a few other things. So there you go. This is the full version. Then here is the slim ISO, which we will install the slim ISO because if we go over to the downloads page, this is where you'll get the ISO, and I'll show you guys the difference. So the full version of BlackArch is 18 gigabytes in size, so that's the big ISO. It comes with pretty much everything. And just to cover it a little bit up here, it says the full ISO contains a complete functioning BlackArch system with all the available tools in the repo at build time. So that's the difference. Now it says the Slim ISO contains the functional BlackArch Linux system with a selected set of commonly well-known tools and system utilities. So that's kind of what you want if you if you're just starting out, you never install BlackArch, you want to kind of stick with the slimmed down version of it. It's similar to Kali Linux. They have a full version, I believe, or at least they used to have a full version. I'm not sure if they still have it or not. They may just produce that one ISO that's around this size, so about 4 gigs, that you can download, and it comes with selected set of tools already installed, but you have access to all those tools. So whatever tools you want to get installed that may not be in those selected sets, then you can install them on your system, and you'll be good to go. And then also they have a third version, is the net install. Now you have to have a internet connection to get this one installed, because it only has like a minimum set of packages, and it'll install the rest from the web. So you have to have a internet connection when installing the net install. And if you look at the versions, they're based on the date. So September 1st is when this one was released. Now, I mean, all of them were released in 2021. So that's the last time, the ISO was updated, but you can easily, run your updates after that. Now, if you scroll down, this is the way you can install Arch Linux or install BlackArch on top of Arch Linux. So if you have an existing install of Arch Linux, you can run through these commands and get Arch Linux installed on top of it. Now that that's out of the way, you guys should know how to download it. And also I wanted to show you guys, this is how you actually write it to a disk or a USB drive, so you can get it installed on your hardware. But essentially that's the command. It's just using DD. So if you know how to use DD, you want to verify you're using the right drive that you're writing the ISO to. Just write it to it and boot up, and you should be able to go through the install. Now let's hop over to my virtual machine so we can go through the install. And like I said, it's super simple, so you shouldn't have an issue getting installed. So let's hop over there now. All right, cool. So I have my virtual machine created, and so I'm starting up the virtual machine now, and I wanted to show you guys what will pop up as soon as you boot up the system with the ISO in the system, and you have the USB ISO set in your BIOS to actually boot from. And it's very hard for me to tell you guys how to do that or demonstrate that, because we all have a bunch of different computers, and so it's difficult for me to actually show you guys that. But once you get past that step, this is what you'll be presented with. It'll tell you what ISO you have, which is I have the BlackArch Linux Slim version, and you got a couple options in here. So you can boot the Slim ISO, the BIOS, and then there's one with speech. And then also boot the existing ISO if you have one on here, which this is a fresh install or a fresh virtual machine that was just set up, so it's nothing on the hard drive. And then you can also test your memory as well as hardware information in case you need to look at that. And then also reboot and power off. So let's go to the first option. We don't need the one with the speech, and it'll boot up. So let's wait for this thing to come up, and then I'll walk you guys through how to install it. Alright, so the first thing that'll pop up, it'll basically say live user. What you want to do is change this to root, and then the password should be BlackArch. Let's see if that actually works for us. Boom. And just to switch over and show you guys back on the website, this is where you get the login information in case you didn't know. But down here on this line, it says default login. So the default login for all ISOs and OVA is root for the username and BlackArch for the password. So that's all you have to do, is type that in and you'll be good to go. And you will be greeted with the XFCE desktop environment. And like I said, it's super simple with this desktop environment versus a window manager. It's a little bit, user friendly for people that are just getting into Linux. You know what I'm saying? This is an easy way of actually managing the system using this environment. All right, cool. So now, how do you install the system? Typically, you'll have a link or something that will open up the installer. Because some people will use BlackArch directly from here. You know what I'm saying? And you can run all your tools from, the live ISO just to test out stuff, and then basically close the operating system and you're done. You don't need to fully install the operating system. But let's say you want to install it on your hardware and make this a dedicated BlackArch install. Well, all you have to do is type install, like hit the start menu, and you want to search within here and you'll find that script. So install BlackArch, and it's Calamaris installer. Very simple to use and run through this install. So let's quickly go through it. This is basically selecting your language. So I'm using American English. You select based on your country of origin, your location. So I'm Los Angeles. Your keyboard type, so English, and then default, which is fine for me. The partitioning, so I recommend you just select erase this. Now there is manual partitioning, but I typically do erase this and swap to file, because most likely I'm gonna delete this install from my virtual machine right after this video. And then let's just hit next and type in our account. So I'm gonna create one, Josh, and then we're gonna do BlackArch as the computer name, and then let's type in a super strong password and type it in twice, and we can use that same password for our administrator account. So just hit next there. And then this is a summary of everything that it's going to do. It's basically going to set your language, location, your locale, your keyboard, then partition the drives, and then install the operating system after creating the file system, file structure, and all that good stuff, and then install the bootloader. So all we have to do is sit back, relax, hit install button, and then go make you some coffee or something, come back, and it should be done. So I'll be back when this actually finishes. Alright, so the installation is complete. As you can see, it automatically selects restart now. You can uncheck that box if you want to just play around with the system, but we're going to go through and reboot so I can show you guys how to actually get into the system and how to actually use it. So let's hit done, and I'll be back when it reboots. Alright, so it booted right from the hard drive in this virtual machine. So let's go down and log in. Let's type in our super strong password that we set up during the install, and that's a cool little background. It says hack the planet. Super cool. Now let me fix my display, which is super cool. It automatically uses the XFCE desktop environment by default. So if you want to use one of those Windows manager, you do have that option. Let's see, keep this configuration. Let's close it. All right, cool. So this is BlackArch Linux. As you can see, it uses the XFCE desktop for the slim version. And so let's just walk through it right fast. You probably have used XFCE. If not, it's not that difficult to use. It's very simple to use. If you click right here, this will allow you to either log out, shut down, suspend, switch users, lock the screen. Right here is your calendar, and it tells you the full date and time. So you get to go there. Here is your notification. So if you have any notifications that'll pop up on the system, then they'll pop up there. And then we have our computer battery, then also your volume settings, as well as your network settings. And you can obviously go in and set up VPN connections, all that good stuff. And if you right click into it and go to edit connections, that will open up the connections editor, and you can go through and modify or make changes to your network settings here. Now let's go down and close that, and right next to it though, you have all your windows or all your desktops. So it comes by default with 4 different desktops. So it's just like any other distribution. You can open up applications on one desktop and go to desktop 2 or workspace 2. Open up another one, boom, and you can jump back and forth. And a lot of these systems have the shortcuts where you can hold like Control Shift and then the left arrow, and it'll take you in between each one of the desktops. Or it might be Shift and Alt. So I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. Or it might be the super key. Let's see, super key. And I'm not sure what that shortcut is, so I'm gonna just bypass it. We're gonna have to figure it out. You can go in and actually look at the shortcuts, but let's just look at the software that's included on this system. The first thing, the browser. I always like to show the browser first, just so you guys can see what's actually on the system when you install it. So about it, it's got Firefox 91, which is a good stable addition. You can upgrade it by running your updates, which we haven't done, but the first thing you really want to do is update the system. And let's go on and start the updates. I'm gonna just leave them running in the background, but as you can see, that's our terminal. I just went in and found the terminal, and all we had to do is type sudo pacman. And just so you guys know, this is a Arch-based Linux distribution, so it uses the Pacman package manager. So you want to make sure you use that when you're updating the system. And the way you update the system is sudo pacman -S and then lowercase y and u, and this will go through, refresh those repositories for us, as well as check for updates for this system, and then go on and install those upgrades. Now you might run into some more selections you have to make, like this is replacing a particular application, CRDA with core wireless. So let's do yes for that. Same thing with this one. This one is replacing another piece of software, and then we can go through and do yes for all of them. But you do want to read this, find out what applications are actually being installed. Before you do this, I'm just running through it. Like I said, I'm going to delete this virtual machine after this install, and it'll go through. I didn't know it was going to be that many, but yeah, there we go. Resolving dependencies. As you can see, it's a whole bunch of updates. Like I said, I'm gonna run it in the background. I'll let it run regardless. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, I'll just let it run on the system just to run through all the updates and kind of see how long it takes. But yeah, it'll go through. This is one of the first things you really want to do when you install any Linux distribution, but specifically BlackArch, since that's what we're looking at today. So I'm gonna minimize that and let that run in the background. But let's look at some more software we have on here. So the file manager, let's check that out. Let's go to about, and it's using Thunar. So if you didn't know that, that's typically what's included with XFCE. Thunar is the file manager for the XFCE desktop environment. There we go. So let's see what other software we got on here. Let's go to all applications. But like they said in the documentation, it comes with base tools, and it comes with a lot of the BlackArch applications that you'll see them pop up in here, like for instance aircrack.ng-ng. If you've never heard of that, that's one of those tools, Burp Suite. But I was mainly looking for our system tools. So here we go, under accessories. So application finder, bulk renamer, that's always good to see. Clipboard manager, so you can look at everything you copied and paste. Calculator or calculator, that's the one that comes with XFCE. Mousepad is a simple text editor. I like it. It works pretty good. I do a lot of editing of text files from the command line, but Mousepad definitely comes in handy. Redshift screenshot, so you got your screenshot tool, software tokens, the RSA, as well as the small version. Then there's a Thunar file, the Thunar file manager, Xarchiver, and Vim. So if you want to use Vim, you can use Vim. There you go. So it'll open it up, the terminal. So let's go down and close that, and then now this is where all your pen testing tools are located. So under BlackArch, you can obviously see it under all applications, but this is how it's broken up. You know what I'm saying? If you click on BlackArch, this will show you the organized version of it. So you have all your categories, and you can go through and look under each one of these categories and see all the tools that are available to you. So automation tools, you got Bluetooth cracking tools or cracker tools right here, Hashcats, Hydra, John the Ripper, Ncrack, you know, a whole bunch of, you know, tools to help you crack passwords, crypto, so hashing identifiers, all kind of stuff. That's super cool in here, and that's created for pen testing. Debuggers, defensive tools, disassemblers, fingerprints, forensic tools, which I always find, you know, super cool. So Maltego, DD Rescue, just mainly forensic tools. So test this. But there are some distributions out there that are created specifically for testing hard drives, so you can check those out as well. But they do have some tools in here for you as far as forensic tools, recovering data that either has been deleted, you know, it's kind of like tools that, you know, to find things like that. Fuzzer, Burp Suite, miscellaneous, so you got some other stuff in here. Remotely execute Windows executables, Metasploit framework, you got your networking ARP scans, FPing, HPing, Mac changer, and a lot of these tools, as you can kind of see, are for the command line. So you have to understand how to run those commands. If you click on it, let's see, like a ARP scan, let's check it out. I don't think it probably didn't bring up the information for it, but some of them will bring up the options, or you could type the, you know, the options to show you all the options that you have using that command. Now let's see, recon, so recon tools, and like I said, I'm not gonna go through all of this. I just kind of wanted to show you this is where everything is, and this is where everything is categorized. So sniffers, spoofers, tunneling, web apps, and wireless. So wireless cracking, aircrack.ng, bully. If you ever heard of bully and Reaver, I've played around with Weaver before, just, you know, just testing it out, trying to see if I can break into my own stuff here at the house. But yeah, that's pretty much the BlackArch category. You got all those tools that you would typically see in Kali Linux or Parrot Linux, you know. Now development, so CMake is there, graphics, you got this image viewer. I really like that one. I use that one on my personal computer. Then you also have a couple other browsers. So you got HexChat. Well, that's not a browser, but that's a chat service. Wireshark, that's network traffic. I'm not sure why it's under there, but I mean it should be under there because it analyzes traffic, network traffic. But you also have another browser. That's what I meant to, you know, kind of say. But Chromium is installed, which is, you know, beneficial. You got your multimedia, so if you want to play around with music, you can. Pulse Audio, Parole Media Player, which works pretty good. Go into your settings. Now this is where you manage pretty much everything on XFCE. So if you want to make changes to your operating system, you know, this is where you want to go under your settings. So you can go to settings manager, and that'll make all your change. You can make all your changes to your system. So appearance, desktop, panels, screensavers, you know, all that good stuff. Display, which I've been messing around with since I installed this to always get it correct, so it'll show right on the OBS recording. But yeah, that's where you go. But if you go back under settings, a lot of these options are here, so you can go directly there. Like the appearance is under there. So if you go to system settings manager, pretty much all these tools under here or under here in one location. So let's go down and close that. Boom, good to go. And then if we go to system, this is basically some system tools. So we do have HTOP, so let's check out the HTOP running. You can just click on it there, or you can open up a terminal and run HTOP, which is there. So, and you still have that installer in here, which is fine. You won't ever need it again. OffCrack, which I've used that in the past, just playing around with it when I was like a systems administrator, using that to get into like older systems like Windows 98. I believe I was using OffCrack to get in there and get the password, like for systems that were possibly on another network or something, or it had some passwords on it, or we didn't know what the local administrator account was for that system. Like when I worked for an organization, we used OffCrack to actually go in and find out what those passwords were, change it so we can, you know, standardize it across the network for systems. So that was awesome, you know what I'm saying, to actually use. And you got forensics imager, pretty much everything. And that's pretty much all I wanted to show you guys with BlackArch. Is super cool, like I said. Awesome, you know, distribution. I wouldn't recommend this distribution for new people that are just getting into Linux. It's not that difficult to use, as you can see, but what's the point of having all these pen testing tools if you don't have a good understanding of how to use the command line? You know what I'm saying? So I recommend you use a distribution that's more centered around you, like beginner users, similar to Pop! OS or Ubuntu or Linux Mint, one of those Debian based distributions where you don't have to touch the command line as much. Arch Linux is probably a little bit more difficult if you don't have a good understanding of how to use the terminal. And I would say the exact same thing about Kali Linux. If you're not good with the command line yet, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't recommend installing Kali Linux as your daily driver. But you can do what you want to. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm just giving my recommendation as a Linux user, you know, that's been using Linux for a number of years now. So take it how you want to take it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the install. That was a super simple install. You can get BlackArch install fairly quickly on your hardware. It's an awesome distribution, and like I stated a little earlier, I recommend it for people that are kind of like intermediate users of Linux and have been using it for a little bit of time and kind of have a better understanding of using the command line. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, go down and leave comments down in the comments below. And of course, keep it techie.